I understand Councilman Lay's family will be here. And then we have Lyme disease.
Have to have Attorney Zarmak talk on that. Very dangerous.
Personal experience.
And your dogs too, man. I mean, the pets, there's an outbreak in this, what do they call it, an epidemic breakout for your Lyme disease in your dog, something with the migration pattern of deer. But in Indiana, it's on a rise. So they're offering inoculation for your pets. We think of ourselves, but think of your dog just being out in the yard, pretty easy to get a tick bite, and that's the deer. And I care more about dogs than I do people, so I can pull out my problem.
Christine?
Yes, Ray.
Yeah, I had Lyme disease and it's like malaria for 90 days. You're just a mess. And it took me about 90 days, maybe 4 months, year and a fog for that time. It was just really good. The key is you got to diagnose really fast. And you got to go through the hospital with the doctor. That's about it. You'll know if you got to find the perfect circle, which she knows because I had two of them here, perfect circles, a bullseye. But again, it's really, really serious. You're gonna walk down the woods, make sure it doesn't, lumps in shirts. That's all.
And check yourself afterwards, yeah.
Get a shower
Mhm.
and the other thing is that the gear fixed. They're tiny. They're not like they're like a pinpoint. It's really, really tiny. You can hardly see them. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Zarmak.
Well, you're a lucky one, because some folks, they really suffer to the point where they can't work anymore and they're just sickly all the time. All right, Calumet Township Assessor, Councilman Bldg.
No action on A or B. And is there anybody on?
Well, on B is a reorganization.
Was that, let me look and see, was it submitted?
Oh, was that
The organ-
newly put on? Is B, B is new?
Let me get to it here, I'm sorry.
Yeah, B is a reorg, eliminating some positions and,
Or sorry, no action on A, and I'll review B and more than likely be asking for approval on it. If it's just a reorg, we usually grant it. So that's what, it's just title change, then I would be seeking approval for
a
the,
little money around.
yeah.
Is anyone on from Calumet Township? No, okay. Auditor's Office.
I'll be seeking approval. This is for the comptroller, which we've emailed and had private discussions on and so forth. And I'm very pleased because Mr. Schmall participated in this so-called recruiting process. So I think it's going to solve a lot of problems for us in the future.
Absolutely. Superior Court Civil. It's a grant. Councilman Ham.
I haven't discussed it, but I got the handout that you've given me. Ms. Becker, given me, we're good?
Yeah,
Good with the grant?
it's a grant from the Indiana Supreme Court, and what it does is provide a volunteer advocate for seniors and incapacitated adults. It's sort of like the other end of the spectrum for guardian ad litem. Franciscan Health serves as the contractor, but the Indiana Supreme Court cannot make an award directly to them. So the civil division is the intermediary.
Gotcha. So,
And Franciscan pays the match.
yeah, the half. So I'll be in support. It's money that we don't have to pay for.
Criminal Courts.
Criminal courts, I'm going to be seeking approval due to, please feel free. This is a reduction and never heard a council member complain about a reduction, but is this because of a employee came in with less time?
We want to come up to the mic, please. Sorry, thank you.
Position as chief probation
Yes.
officer for 2 years, and now the 2 years is up,
Oh.
and that salary was increased. on this position.
Yep,
So now we have to bring it back down.
because it rotates, that's the
Right,
rotating one.
That's correct.
So I'll be seeking approval.
Councilman Ham, Councilman Lay never complained about it.
He didn't.
No, sir.
Councilman Lay did not complain to me.
And if you notice on our agenda, we do use the word postponed. We did it there.
Yes.
Good point.
Yes. Okay,
Brewer,
any
it's a pleasure
questions?
you Being here, but no, Councilman Lane was fine with it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You all have a blessed day.
You too.
Thanks. Lake Superior Court Room 4, it's a grant. Problem Solving Court.
100% grant. Oh, please.
Morning.
Break
Learning,
University
learning.
in Iowa, right?
Sorry,
In Iowa, right?
Iowa,
Drake?
I played a trick.
Yep.
There you go. Thank you. Brandon Donaldson from the Division for Drug Court, seeking approval of permission for 2025 problem solving grant from the Indiana Supreme Court.
Mhm. And I'll be seeking approval. That's a 35,750 and it's paid for by the Supreme Court. So I'm good.
Are you gonna boiler up this Saturday?
Absolutely.
Okay.
What about UConn though?
It's tough.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's, I like to see pretty good.
that would, I think there's a pretty good chance of seeing that.
Absolutely.
Any questions from anyone? Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Room 3. Clothing.
Asking for a new line item in clothing 62230 and then
Oh.
to,
That's the rope,
yeah, I need that,
the judge,
yeah,
Needs a new rope.
yeah. it's
Judge-
all-
Judge
Zippers
texted-
all.
judge texted me on it.
Did she? Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, we did, so, and then to transfer from office supplies 500, I
Right.
think that should cover it.
Cool.
Hey, any questions?
I'm good with that.
I'll tell you down
Thank you.
for a road.
It's incredible, but that's where they're at.
Gotcha, man.
They do. And no matter where I go, they kind of got this.
Kind of like Hugh Hefner, that rope.
Okay, juvenile court.
Morning all.
Morning.
First, grant applications and grant approvals. The first one is just a renewal for our Family Recovery Court.
Mhm.
And the other two, I'm gonna let Kevin Elkins talk. It's part of probation.
The other two grants are two new grants. One is through the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute. It'll be a life discovery program. We did a pilot program. It's geared toward young ladies. We want to try to do something more than specific. It's an 8-week sessions, 3 different sessions through a life coach. And to these 5, which should be great. He works out of Chicago. He's doing a great job. I think it's easy. And the second one is the Gentlemen's Corporation. It's going to be a life skills program, which skills are used to basic, contractor type stuff, firewall and I'm used to doing stuff for kids on Margaret Street that a lot of us used to learn, so we like to do that stuff. But those are two grants. I'm support.
I know, kind of fast forwarding, we have a grant on item 20C. It's under the council, but that's also with Vertical Farms. To remind everyone, we are meeting tomorrow at 10:30-ish, 11. Walk through, the architects from the commissioners have looked. We're going to look at the soil. Hopefully we'll be solid enough. We won't have to do ground stabilization because it's kind of a swamp if you're thinking of like the west side of where the juvenile is. So we're hoping that we don't have to do ground stabilization there. And anyone's invited, they'd like to come and walk through that tomorrow, I said by 11 o'clock on the west side. And it's moving right along. We've got, with these grants and helping us from this point forward is Baker Tilly. Jean Ann, I think we couldn't have got this done without them. They just met with Jean Ann, and there's just, that level of grant writing is probably way above anything we have the ability of doing, going after these federal grants like that. So having them secured to do that will pay for itself threefold and continue with the energy saving grants so that we can go completely green over there with, solar and everything. So I don't know how you guys are feeling. I am totally excited about it. It's actually coming to, and we could, start growing our partnerships. We should all gotten an email, on the grant from Jean Ann. I think that went out to everyone, didn't it?
Yes.
On that FDA grant.
Yes.
And, I don't know, it's, it is exciting.
Yeah, US.
We got our customers, the food bank. We, can't grow enough right now. Everything we do grow and produce over there is gonna make it to the food bank. They'll handle the distribution of it for us. We'll still have some things, and working with Judge, he said that we can do some, what do you call that? A probationary, what do you call it when someone's like, Otis the town drunk, you let them out?
Like community service?
Yeah.
Or-
Well, we got that going too.
But Ted, a couple of weeks ago, Reverend Whitaker had a ribbon cutting for a new program they're doing of freezing some vegetables. USDA obviously has a bulletin out that says that 40% of foods that's produced by farmers go into a landfill. And that's why they're looking into this concept of freezing food. So,
And freezing it root and all, because then you can avoid some of the packaging and handling, and because it's like, once you take it off the root, then it becomes a commodity and it becomes all these rules. But Nick's been great with the health department and training that, and we're trying to get folks in produce handling. And we'll have that presentation for everyone, a nice PowerPoint. But our partnership with Purdue, job opportunities for these young folks at Purdue and Bill's Produce, it's all there. So we will have the ability of freezing it root and all. And we have a walk-in cooler that we were able to get that grant. And everybody that's in here that's a Lake County resident, show your ID, come there, get free.
You were talking about birds.
yes.
Yeah. So, you're gonna see, what I do is, start saving the help life.
Great, okay.
Love that, working together.
It's a good thing. Nothing bad about this program.
Any other questions?
We have one more.
Yes.
On page 314. We have a reduction on a therapist position of
Oh, yes.
9,353. And we have 3 places we want to put some of that. And one is with the security supervisor, training coordinator, 4,000. And the education department had 3,000 and the nurse, 2,353.
Why are we reducing the therapist?
We're reducing the therapist to put a different, for another position that we're going to use, and it was too much. So these other people, for instance, the security guy does all of our training for the new employees that come in, detention security people, to be trained in defense, with kids. You can't punch a kid, so you have to use different means to do it. And he was trained by the academy, so.
It's just a week.
Right.
It's just, and then the education department had some more curriculum that came from the DOC, so there's more to be done there with that position. And then with the nurse has been with us 37 years, she's an LPN. And we just tried in the beginning of the budget, 2024, to get more money for the nurses. But
So is the therapist vacant or a new
it is
hire?
now, but it's not gonna be.
Okay, that's what I want to know. I
It'll
didn't
be-
want to know if a current employee salary was being reduced. All right, thank you.
That's it.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Lake County prosecutor? Oh, no, wait, let me
Chair.
go back. Let me
Chair.
go back. We skipped a page.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good.
In regards to item 12, we have a grant from the Project South Neighborhoods that we've had the last few years. This is for $29,730.10. So that'll be coming to the sheriff department. I'm going to put it in an account. Under letter B, it makes reference to a pass-through award. We received an award for the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute for a piece of equipment. It's a spigometry device that allows us to detect trace amounts of controlled substance. If this grant will pay for that particular device, it's $70,000, a little over $70,000. And that'll pay for that device, allow us to use that for not only drug investigations, but potential investigations of overdose deaths and relative to a lot of the toxicity of, that we have with some of these drugs. That machine will be able to give us an accurate account of what that particular substance is.
Could you give an example of this professional services for this 29,000? Is this one person, one contract, or is it?
Yes, what we use that for, we have, it's a part-time position for an intelligence analyst. We provide intelligence to all the 18 towns and cities in the county. So that's what that position provides.
Okay, any questions for anyone? All right, thank you. Oh,
13,
what do you got?
animal control.
Oh, yes, okay.
We spoke about that before, and this is in regards to, as you by the animal control, you can see there's basically a monsoon disaster map there. We're gonna go ahead and be using this money to pay for new fencing, to pour new concrete pad to be able to put some of our dog runs on, as well as an air conditioning unit for the back of that building, which houses, and we're still pretty much full capacity. We're getting into warmer weather. It'll help take a lot of that stress off the animals that are being stored there.
Any questions?
And aside for Mr. Patterson, how is it you get all this hair below?
This is the way it goes.
Hey, are you guys needing, I didn't pay attention, over there, you guys got a low spot where you needing fill
They
to
had to
raise
put
it
through
up?
The lines for the grass shack extension,
Yeah.
so all the lines go through there. And then we got into cold weather because we were hoping to do this before we had the freeze last year and weren't able to. So that we're gonna go ahead and reclaim that corner and get the fence back up so we can get the animals as we get to the warmer weather, we want to get them outside a little bit more frequently, a little more space to be able to do that.
You have to build that up, but I'm saying we've gotten some loads from Public Works dumped over at the juvenile. And they got a Bobcat, they smeared it around, and if you needed to raise up some areas, it's free.
Free's good.
Free, good.
Also, I know it's on the agenda, but I just wanted to remind everybody, this is Autism Awareness Month. Our officers are wearing autism patches and badges and kind of making sure that stays out in the public eye. This is a big issue relative to all first responders going to particular scenes and being able to deal with some of the issues that are collateral issues to a particular crime. Being able to provide some human resources, activity, and support to families that have special needs or family members that are afflicted by autism as well. So, thank you.
I did deliver that last month to the co-op, our flag. They got it. I might be on the
Prosecutor.
spectrum.
Prosecutor, now you're up. Good morning.
We're asking for additional appropriation for 6 line items in our 8127 fund. All of these increases are funded from the grant that was approved last month.
Any questions from anyone? All right,
And then
next.
our second is a resolution permitting us to pay an invoice from last year in the amount of $25. We have encumbered all but the $25. We had one person register late for the IPAC Winter Conference, so that's where that's coming from.
Prosecutor couldn't take that out of his pocket to pay that.
I didn't want to ask him.
Okay, any questions? All right, thanks, Jacob.
Thank you.
Corrections?
Morning, everyone. It's great to see you all today. So Community Corrections is seeking council approval for 2 requests. The first being the Indiana Department of Corrections Community Corrections Justice Reinvestment Grant Agreement. This was postponed at the March meeting. I believe Tom mentioned that the council wanted to see additional information other than the budget breakdown that was provided in the grant agreement, which only summed up the totals to 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, 6-4 series. So we provided supporting documentation, which is in your packet in 16A1. That shows our appropriations broken down by each program, project income, and grant funding. And our second request is the COVID-19 Detention and Confinement Grant Award from the Indiana Department of Health. This is a reimbursement grant, no local match, with an award amount of $5,825.95. The equipment that's going to be purchased, well, supplies and equipment, is a commercial washer slash dryer for a total of $4,548, an infrared face scanner thermometer for $1,152, and a handheld sanitizer mist machine to disinfect areas for $125.95.
Have you all had an increase in COVID, persons coming through there with COVID?
Since the pandemic, I do not, believe so. They used to utilize another post primarily for COVID patients, and I know it hasn't seen, much, residents in since.
Any questions from anyone? Besides Charlie? All right. All right, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Economic development,
Madam. Good morning, everybody.
morning.
There was somebody saying
I
something.
thought I heard somebody online.
This is Randy.
Randy.
Oh, yes.
So I had some questions on the community corrections. I remember a discussion we had last month about something that had to do with a commissary in the community corrections. What's ever come of that? I'm just not sure, whatever came of that discussion.
Jean Ann's going to look for them, Randy. They
Okay.
walked out by the time we heard.
No, it's okay. I understand. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
sorry, we
wait.
didn't know you were online, sorry.
It's
But,
okay. I'll wait till the
what
end.
we failed to do is to introduce Councilman Brewer to, so if you could state your name, for, when you come up, we're a little late in the game, but it would be appreciated.
Also signed.
Want me to wait or want me to
No,
go?
go ahead. We'll-
Okay, Tim Brown, Lake County Community Economic Development Department. People always ask me what I work for, and that is such a mouthful.
No relations.
Yeah. It's just,
No, hey, clarify, there's no relations to Charlie Brown.
yeah, well, that, because my dad's name is Charles Brown too. So I got you going, coming either way here.
Could be.
I've been waiting about 5 years to catch him on that one. I really have. I have never told him that before. Well, anyway, I decided to do something that I don't know why I'm doing it, but anyway, that I got a notice a week ago. Scott's laughing. I got a notice, a phone call actually from a gal at the Department of Energy saying, "Oh, by the way, I got your name. We've got money. Do you want it?" And I said, "I don't know." So I talked to her for a bit and she sent me some things, and then I immediately submitted a grant request. It's $307,890. It's a formula grant, which means as long as we apply, we get the money. We're not competing with anybody. It buys us some time. And the reason why there's a bit of a rush, the pre-application is due at the end of this month. So I've already started looking for stuff to do. I talked to Commissioner Repay finally yesterday. A couple of years ago, the commissioners threw out a survey about trying to do an EV station somewhere here on the county grounds. And I want to get rid of my 2 vehicles and go to EV on those 2 vehicles too. So the idea of trying to get a station or a multiple station points and a couple of vehicles, I think we can do that for that kind of money. I've done some preliminary price outs for stuff. The EV stations themselves really aren't that expensive. You can get a fairly decent one, a 4-unit one for under 10,000.
As I said, we're looking into that for some vehicles just to move the produce and stuff around and through these federal grants. We could throw in on that. There was, there's like I'm not exaggerating. I think like the net energy savings between all that. I mean, it was like hundreds of billions of dollars out there for us to tap into that. I mean, it's just
Yeah, I remember
mind boggling how much.
the
money's out there.
Volkswagen settlement and that there was.
Well, they got
there was
the
money
EV
for that.
vehicles that we can use to distribute. We looked at branding that and using that as a novelty for kids and stuff when they're in there. But Tim, maybe we can talk with Jean Ann. We have Baker Tilly working on energy savings grants. we might need to include you in that if that's something.
Sure.
Well, Commissioner Repe is aware of it. He's on the email channel now, but that could pay for. We just we're going after every grant that's out there.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I figured I could do, because I do two things. I want to get EV stations somewhere on the county property, and I can get a couple of EV vehicles out of it. I've got some Crown Vics from 2011, and they're done. I mean, they're really done.
You still drive one of those, Ted?
I did. I had the last one made by Art Hill Ford.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, ours are still running. In fact, I've got 2011 vehicles that have under 40,000 miles on them. So, you know, that's just unbelievably low mileage.
In the
But they're
case
done.
of the EV stations, does that mean that only county employees could?
That's a very good question, because I've been trying to debate on what to do about it. Most EV stations, you're using a credit card and they're open 24/7. If you go and try to charge up your EV, you know, somewhere where there's a station, you're plugging in your credit card, you plug in the car and do that thing. At home, it's really easy. It just goes to your NIPSCO bill. Okay. Here, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to be able to do that, because we really would want a card for any employee, you know, county-owned car, vehicle would have a card that would automatically allow that machine to charge without charging it to a credit card. That's something I've got to consider in doing this.
Lino's here was councilman at Hobart. We had that EV charge. So how did they do that in Hobart?
Like you said, the station's cheap. Software.
Yep. Yep.
I think it's just, ours is just free. So, it's just a service the city provides that, I don't know, they don't charge anything for it.
And the idea,
Every citizen can go and
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you have to be a citizen, I've seen it, I don't know if it's there. Well, first come, first serve, I believe, you know. But it's right next to City Hall and, you know, but.
Right.
I think the operator does it, just park the car there, it takes maybe 45 minutes, an hour to charge up. You're gonna go shopping, it's expensive. So.
If you're looking for a spot, parking spot number 92.
well, yeah, that's the other kind of logistics. Where do we stick this thing? I
Don't
mean,
make sure we charge.
Yeah, yeah. We talked about inside of the gate for employees would make sense, because then it's secure, because you'd have to have a pass card. But not all the employees have a card to open that gate. The ones that work out here might have EDs. So I haven't figured any of that out yet. I'm not even close to figuring that out yet. I don't even know where the access is, points to put an EV station that lowers the cost of putting in the electric lines to get to it. I have no idea where the electric lines are anywhere on this property.
They have the architect, Coons.
Yeah.
Is his name, right?
Yeah, I know Tom real well.
And
Yeah.
I would say go to commissioners and because we could do it right in this parking lot and
Mhm.
it'd be awesome, man. I think that's a great idea, Tim. Thank you.
Yeah, I figured if we could do multiple stations, fine.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to service a couple different things with this, so it just, and it's gonna be fluid. I may be back to you guys, you know, for other.
We should be looking at putting in a couple of banks of charging units.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a couple of banks, maybe on this side, on the west side, on the west side and the east side, Tom's Park.
I'm still trying to figure out how you can do it free of charge. I mean, you can't pull into a gas station and fill up your car free of charge, so.
Never done that? What kind of childhood did you have?
I'm not looking at doing it free of charge. I mean, Hobart can do what they want to do. I mean, if we did that, we'd have, then the other problem you run into is that you're gonna run this thing 24/7. Typically,
Oh, shut it off.
our places are, we're basically empty on the weekends here and at night. But do you want a car parked here in your parking lot overnight to charge it, or for an hour at 7, 8 o'clock at night?
There's
I don't
a
know.
certain amount of liability that would come in allowing your.
That's the problem.
You don't allow overnight parking even for council members. When I first got on this council, I got
Exactly.
orange sticker because I parked in the parking lot and went on council business to Indianapolis, came back and they had an orange sticker ready to tow my vehicle. So.
But I mean, we could put a timer on it, for instance, and it shuts off at, 6
Some of
o'clock
the
at night or whatever. you know. there's different ways to look at that, so,
I don't think it's a whole lot to charge. I mean, cost wise,
no.
I mean, we'd be arguing over pennies.
But anyway, that's the request, if I can get started on it. I'm, evidently, the DOE stuff is even worse than the HUD stuff I'm doing, because the sites are having fun already with it.
Some good moves with HUD. We might see some more money coming, right?
Well, actually, the way it sounds in terms of the programming for my department in the CDBG and for the home funds, they're gonna flatline CDBG funds, so it'll be the same amount. It's been dropping anywhere between 20 and 40,000 a year for the last 5 or 6 years. So they're gonna flatline the community block grant funds, but they are gonna lower the home funds, and we think it's gonna be about 17%. We've been getting about 33 to 60,000 a year more in home funds. And we've been doing that for the last, 4 or 5 years. So the 17% cut is not going to kill us at all. It really won't affect us that much. So
Other questions?
see you
Thank
next
Tim.
week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now, Randy, you still on? We've got George here.
Yeah, I'm still
Any
on.
corrections?
Yep, I seem to remember there was some discussion and it got a little bit exciting about something that had to do with some commissary funds in the community corrections. I'm trying to refresh my memory here. I'm not jogging up real well. And Pete, if you remember anything about that
Yeah,
discussion.
yeah, since our meeting, I have been working with George on that and how that's, I don't have any new information yet. We've been just trading some information back and forth on how that was started, how that's going, how that's gonna continue to go in the future. It's ongoing in our discussions on how that has worked over the last 20 years or so. And so we're kind of going through that part of it. I don't know if George has anything to add to that, but I would say, at least on my end, it's still an ongoing discussion.
Okay.
George?
Yeah, go ahead, George.
Yes, I mean, Pete has pretty much summed it up. He's been having correspondences with community corrections, with the executive director and the executive director and the budget and personnel manager, my predecessor, have been working extensively to prepare this information. I know that there was discussions about meeting to review the material. Pete at this time is on spring break. I wish I was on spring break too, so. But yeah, it's an ongoing matter.
Yep.
All right, thanks. I'll just look for future updates here, hopefully soon, right?
Yep, for sure.
All right. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, George. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. All right, back to Hobart Township. Oh yeah, Hobart Township.
This is a bump up. Lino can explain in the common areas. We got hit up for a
I
little
have,
bit of extra dough.
He's from the Hobart.
Lino Maggio, I'm the Hobart Township Assessor. What this is, I guess what we have is a triple net lease, what they call. And, at the end of the year, the strip mall that I'm in, they take, the money that they spend on insurance for the common areas, and also apparently I wasn't unaware of, garbage. And they prorated it into next month's or next year's rent. So my monthly rent went up accordingly. It was $30 a month for trash and $19.76 a month for the insurance reimbursement. And them two numbers, plus they hit me with the 1 year's trash, last year's trash, $360, which I believe is a fair amount for the amount of trash we do use. So they put that on also. So we cut that check for $360, and then they raised my rent for this year to balance out the insurance and then this year's trash. So, it ended up coming up to $957.12 total. And we're also in the process of, this is for Councilman Niemeyer. New Chicago and the Hobart Township Trustee's Office are in the process of planning a new building. And combining their
Sure.
two offices with enough space for my office to rent from. So that should cut our costs dramatically and probably, I don't know, probably a couple years. I don't know. There's no dirt's been broke yet, so.
We're probably.
That's
2
great
years
news.
away from
That's
that
great
happening.
news, Lino. I appreciate you sharing that.
So.
And Ms. Pelfrey is on the case.
I know this has been bugging you for sure, Charlie. So I'd appreciate the appropriation. Thank you.
Attorney Zarmak's been helping out with
Yes.
bond issues and stuff over there to get it. I mean, are we close? Are they moving forward or?
Moving forward.
You know?
Yeah, we'll just be a renter. The building.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure, Councilman Niemeyer will still be, the assessor will still be paying rent. It's just to
Yeah.
one entity instead of a private entity.
Yeah, no,
think it's-
I'm definitely in favor of that. If we've got governmental agencies that are cooperating with each other and helping reduce costs, that's always good. So, no, I'm looking forward to that. That's a great news, Lino. Thanks for sharing.
We look at capturing some of that levy, and Councilman Brown, I haven't had an opportunity to speak with you. We looked into trying to not put any hardship on the Lake Station schools. Obviously, it's a poor community, and $50,000-$60,000 is doesn't seem like much when we look at bigger ends of government, but to a small, that could be a teacher's salary or a librarian's salary. So we're doing everything, but I don't, and I talked with Tom, I don't think really there's much. We would have to build it, tie it in with maybe highway and use it as a substation for maybe part of the highway department, keep a plow truck there. And then those other entities would rent from us, but it gets so convoluted and I'm not sure that the township trustee or the city or the town of New Chicago would want to do that either. So everybody's been generous with our money to help them out. They have the money to do it. The bond's moving forward. And I would say maybe 2 years to move in. Roughly.
What's at the end of this lease?
I would just be close. If not, we'll have to buy it out or break it somehow. If you look at it, see how we can break our lease.
Yeah. Did that at the beginning of the lease.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you. Commissioners, anyone? Anyone online for the commissioner's office? No, I think Matt's on spring break too.
16.
This is to
This
create
is
a,
settlement.
yeah, this is the Monsanto settlement funds, the $6 million is to create a line item and appropriate the funds.
You want me to carry that? You got someone?
Dave, you got enough on your plate?
I do.
Unless Charlie
Yeah,
does.
page-
Charlie's on the committee.
Gotcha.
Come on, Chris, just lighten my load enough.
I want to.
I'll take it.
I'm still trying to get run
Charlie, you
first
do it?
by
Oh,
committee.
Charlie said, okay. All right, there's also a resolution for an outstanding bill, 5410. Charlie, you can handle that as well.
I'll ask the commissioner to repay why he didn't pay that out of his pocket.
Yeah. And then there's contracts. And that's for the grant research and advising.
Well,
That's for the vertical gardens.
Yeah, for vertical farm.
Okay.
That's the USDA grant.
Yeah, there's two contracts. The first contract, they're gonna continue research and explore identifying additional grants
Okay.
with the hopes of sustaining it through, sustaining the whole function through grants. And there's another grant they're looking on currently that's going to fund the construction of the farm. That's the writing service. So there's one that's active through USDA that they're writing. And they'll submit Tuesday. And I've got a closed contract with them.
I think we can sustain this whole thing by grants over long periods of time and take care of the other outlying communities of us being the hub. So pretty exciting stuff. But I can, Councilman Brown, I'll carry, I guess I'll take both of those. I'm the only one listed on there, right? Yeah, so I'll take B if that's all right.
And C. Yeah, well, you already did C.
And I did it. Yeah, but on Tuesday, I'll carry it through. The all 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and C.
Okay. Then there's the health board appointment. I don't know if we're ready to make that appointment. Anyone's reviewed the resumes that were sent through, so we'll see. We may defer that until. All right, anybody have anything else?
Madam President,
Yes.
I got a letter that Mr. Wilgus resigned from the Hammond Library Board. And I just sent it to Tori.
Okay,
And I asked her to put it on the agenda for May. So the reason I'm directing it to you, you and I both represent
yes,
Hammond. So if you have somebody, please.
and here, usually the director will make a recommendation.
Hasn't. I even spoke to him in person one day.
Okay, yes, please, you want to use the mic, please? Thank you. This, LaTanya, correct?
Good morning,
Okay.
everyone. I apologize, I came in late. Just have a question. The salary ordinance for Cal Township, is the council going to hear that on Tuesday? Or was that?
Reorg.
The reorg, yes.
Okay, so you will be hearing that on Tuesday.
So where
Do you
am
have
I
any
at here?
concerns or?
No, I'm gonna advise Ms. Collins. She had some emergency things come up, so she wasn't able to make the same
Oh,
session
okay.
this morning. So I just wanted to make sure so I can let her know.
Thank you.
You can let her know, no action on A, and I'll read for approval as submitted B. If she has an amendment she needs to make it, just give her my cell phone and have her call me.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All
All
right.
right. Anything else? Meeting adjourned?
You guys got